Well, let me tell you, at this size, I have fallen. And I have fallen where I couldn't get up right away. And the first thing that runs through your mind is, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
What's going on, people? We're back again. It's crazy though, right? Because you'd think that if you are in a position in your life that when you fall down, you don't have the strength, or you're just too weak, or you're just too big to be able to get yourself up. You would think that feeling, just having that notion of death in your mind, that you could die because you're too big to get up, that is the first big sign out of all the signs you've had in your whole entire life that you've clearly ignored. You need to do better. That you need to lose the weight. So therefore, if you ever do fall down, you can at least be able to pick yourself up and not have to worry about the fact that your life could just be gone. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, all I want to say is this: tuck in your seatbelts or get your covers, whatever it is that you need to get yourself strapped in, because you're about to experience one hell or a roller coaster when it comes to Wess. But of course, before we start, please do start off by hitting that subscribe button as well as liking the video too. And with that being said, let's get into it. The breakfast. Okay, cool. The breakfast may not be as bad as the breakfast that we witnessed last week, but ladies and gentlemen, trust me when I tell you, when we get to the scale, yeah, that's going to be something else. But my man starts off his day with having God knows how many wraps. Obviously, the wraps are literally stacked over one another. And you know what makes it worse? I
wear clothes when I leave the house, obviously. But when I'm home, I do what I need.
So when he's at home, of course, he sits there butt naked after having a shower. But the thing is, right, and I can't really fathom this or understand this, but he eats with his food in his plate pretty much on his stomach. And the thing that I can't fathom is that if I am sitting there naked and I can see that my stomach is this big, my gut is this big, okay? And the fact that I can't even see my own little weapon, that is very, very worrying. And this guy actually has lymphedema as well. He's got a big bag of sack like on his leg. You know, that is a struggle for him, you know, when he's walking in the whole shebang, okay? And obviously it weighs quite a lot. But so my thing is, if I'm sitting there, you're sitting there and you're eating your food and you can see your stomach is your table, why does that not concern people? I don't understand that. That is just a general question, to be honest with you, that I have to ask. I asked it on Patreon, so I'm going to ask it here. And for the people who don't know, I do cover the full episode on my Patreon account where I don't need to actually pause the video every 10 seconds. You get what I'm saying, okay? On that one, I actually allow the video just to play, you know what I mean? And I talk when necessary, you dig what I'm saying? So yeah, link down below in the description. But anyway, let's continue with what else went down on this week's episode of My 600 Pound Life, episode 3.
I was home a lot by myself. That's when a family member was very sexually abusive towards me, and it took my childhood away from me.
Now, of course, you know, sadly so, when people get to this stage, it's because something has happened in their life, you know, more or less. And sadly for Wess, with him, it was a case of where someone in his family decided to obviously take advantage of him. And that is an experience that no child should have to go through, let alone any adult should have to go through. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, because at the end of the day, you know, if someone violating your space, violating your body, it's not cool. It's yeah. But here's the thing, though, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world, in a society where, sadly, there are many people who go through this experience of being taken advantage of at a young age or any other age for that matter. But not every single person who is a victim to these disgusting crimes ends up overweight or ends up using the trauma in the end to make things worse for themselves. Now, of course, everybody's different in terms of how they deal with things. But the fact is this, though, we can never, ever ignore that despite the fact that everyone is different when it comes to dealing with trauma, we have to always remember that there are people out there who have been through the same thing as you, sadly, but they've been able to deal with it. You know, and when I say deal with it, what I mean, they've been able to mature from it. They've been able to use the trauma to not weaken them and not to make them stagnant or to not allow it to ruin their life. They've been like, you know what, this happened to me, but you know what, I'm still here and I'm still breathing, I'm still alive and I'm still healthy. So you know what, let me just live my life and do the best I can with myself, rather than take myself down because someone decided to be disgusting, and therefore I'm allowing that person to have the power to ruin my life forever. See, there is a fine line. Do you see what I'm saying? When bad things happen to us, we've got a choice of what we want to do. Do we want to allow the person who has done those bad things to legit put us in a position where we will just continue to ruin ourselves? Or do we say, you know what, you messed me up. Yeah, you did things that you should have never done. But I'm not going to allow you and your madness to stop me from living life and going to places that I want to go to and doing things that I want to do. No, screw you. And then there's also people who actually have the ability to also report these people as well. It really depends, right? But the matter of fact is, though, when I see someone who's been through a traumatic experience, it doesn't matter how deep, how dark it is, I really dislike it when they use it as a tool to make their own life worse, rather than a tool to be like, nah, revenge. And do you know what the best revenge is? Succeeding in life. Without fail. This may trigger some people, but as you know, I keep things real. I don't sugarcoat nothing. We continue though. So as you saw there, and I was meant to actually get that right on the crisp of the actual number. Let's get there again. Boom, bam. My guy is legit 705 pounds. Well, 705.1 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, that number is astonishing. That is the biggest number we've had this season so far. Of course, we're only 3 episodes in, but this is the biggest number we've had so far. The question is, though, is he going to be able to turn things around and do better for himself? That is the question. Well, we're about to find out.
Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like 650 pounds at that time. So between now and then, it's been anywhere between 650 and 700.
Like, yo, that's crazy, man. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he was weighing at 650 pounds. And you're telling me that nothing registered to him at that time that, hey, I need to do better. I mean, listen, end of the day, like I said, despite what I said in this video, obviously trauma is a very powerful thing. And I understand that some people in life need to see a therapist to be able to overcome, their trauma. And that's something that I will never ignore, you know what I mean? Even the strongest of people sometimes also need a therapist as well to help them clear their mind and clear their thoughts and to put their priorities in the correct places and all that kind of stuff, because there's nothing wrong with help, you know what I mean? That is for sure. But Wes has admitted to purposely wanting to push everyone away from him, to purposely wanting to be unattractive to everybody, and to purposely actually living on his own so he can just be trapped in his own little cave away from just everyone, because he's afraid of people hurting him. Okay? Because he's been hurt in the past, of course, sadly so. He doesn't want no one to come close to him to hurt him in any aspect moving forward, which I can completely understand, do you know what I mean? But the fact is, though, we're in a situation here where how long, okay, let's forget about how long does it take until someone realizes that they need to lose weight. Let's change the question. How long does it take someone to realize that they need to go and see it? Maybe that's the question and not the question of the weight. Because, of course, the question of the weight is revolved around having the strength to lose it mentally, but the mental strength, some people, it comes from seeing a therapist who can help them open up things that they are hiding from the most. And the people that hide things the most are generally the people who are quite, it weakens you so much, But the people who are happy to confront those things, it strengthens you so much. And obviously he's in a position where he's weakened himself so much because he's always hiding. I still stand by what I already said though prior, but these are little bits that obviously have to be considered. We continue.
Current weight, you have to lose at least 100 pounds. And this is not something that is going to be easy, but you're going to have to bite the bullet and do that. You need to stick to it.
So he's got 2 months to lose 100 pounds, 50 pounds per month. The question is, was he able to do it? That is the question. Now, one thing that I'll tell you about Wes is that Wes is a very good talker, very good at I want to say he's very good at making you believe, the audience, that he's actually going to be on track and he's actually going to lose the weight, okay? But also at the same time, though, I feel like he's also a very good talker at just there's a level of manipulation to himself. I would maybe even call it delusion. But as the episode progresses, I mean, like this video right now, you will see exactly what I mean, okay? Because he's got so much knowledge, but it's the way he articulates himself, and then you're thinking, but why? But it all makes sense as we go through. Let's continue. £100, space of 2 months.
Should have taken my dad to see Dr. Now because now my dad thinks that he has carte blanche to tell me what to eat and what not to eat. And I like control.
You see, here's the thing. I think that his dad has been wanting to get his son to lose weight for a very long time. But his dad has not known how to tell his son. Because I know there's a lot of parents who fear telling their kids the reality, but this is the crazy thing about being a parent. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the idea of you being a parent means that sometimes you are happy to be the good person in your child's life, but sometimes you also are happy to be the bad person in your child's life? Because we know firsthand, even being as children ourselves, that sometimes our parents are going to tell us things that we want to hear. Sometimes they're going to tell us things that we just don't want to hear. But those things that we don't want to hear, years later when we become adults and even when we become parents, we look back and we're thinking, damn, that's why you said that to me back then. I understand now and I respect it. I didn't like it at the time. I didn't respect it at the time, but now I understand. So I just don't understand how we now live in a world where parents are so afraid to tell their children the truth. To just say, hey, man, shouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in that generation, and this man is 36. He's older than me. So he should have been a part of the generation. But then again, obviously, I've got melanin. I come from a melanin background. I come from an African background. Maybe parents are different. Because obviously the jokes have already made over the years about how black parents are different to white parents and how Asian parents are different to this parents. And then also when you take away race, how Caribbean parents are different to these parents, Indian parents, Chinese, you know what I mean? So maybe it's an upbringing within, within his own society of not being told the hard truth, okay? But sadly, in today's society, it doesn't matter where you're from, to be fair, for the most part. All parents are the same these days, weak as hell. Don't tell their kids anything. They just slap them with an iPad. Or just put them in a club. And then when they pick them up, they don't even look at their child. Don't even ask them, how was your day? How are you today? You know what I mean? They don't even look at their child and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm feeding you too much. No, they're just like, keep stacking it on. And fast forward, now we end up in TV shows like My 600 Pound Life. Just process that. But anyway, obviously, he's not happy with the fact that his dad is coming to the house to clear up every single food he has in there. Guys, like, listen, we're going to tidy up, we're going to get rid of all the food, and we're going to bring in some new, fresh food for you. And obviously, he's not happy with the fact that his dad is clearing out all the junk food. That's why he's so upset about his dad intervening. But anyway, we can.
Get down to 605 today.
So it's been 2 months. He weighed 705.1 pounds. He now weighs 694.9 pounds. He has lost a rough estimate between 9 and 10 pounds. Let's just process that real quick. In a space of 2 months. 2 months! Now, of course, to catch the full episode, it is on Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, where of course, there'll be no parts skipped out. But if you are a member of Patreon, then you know exactly how we got here. And I'll give you guys, for the people who are not members, exactly how we got here. Very simple, to be honest with you. Wes spent most of the part telling us that he was doing well, but he also admitted that he had hiccups here and there, but also believed that the hiccups were not big enough for him to not succeed the goal that was set for him. And in a nutshell, if Dr. Now wasn't open to seeing his efforts, then Dr. Now just still give him the surgery regardless. It's crazy, man, because when it happened, and I'm watching, I'm thinking, I saw this coming. Because the way he speaks is so articulate, so precise. And I sit here that someone with such knowledge, someone who knows how to speak so well about his situation, why have you not lost it already? But ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, this episode is a roller coaster. So, let's see what else is to come.
You do it already. What happened?
Well, I'm telling you I didn't stick with the diet. You asked me what happened. I'm telling you I didn't stick with the diet.
Guy's got an attitude problem. Dr. Now was just saying, yo, man, what's the issue here? And my man's got an attitude issue. Like, yo, chill.
Purpose of coming and telling me that?
To hold me accountable.
So, do you want me to be the one to motivate you to lose weight and keep you from gaining? Do I need to call you every day and ask you please follow the diet?
This is the thing. Some people in this world want their hand held in everything. That is not how life works. Maybe when you're a kid, but that's as far as it goes. As far as it goes.
Is that a question for you?
Yes, sir.
But in 2 months, if you haven't lost any weight, there's no point coming back and telling me that you didn't follow a diet.
Yes, sir.
Brutality. That's a lot to hear, man. Dr. Now letting him know. Letting him know that, listen, if you don't lose the weight in 2 months, don't come back here. I don't want to hear none of this nonsense. Because the matter of fact is, Dr. Now said to him that even if you lose the weight, you know, there is still that possibility you may not necessarily have that surgery. But you need to lose that weight so hopefully we can get that surgery happening, because you're not in the best of position. That is just the bottom line. There's a lot of things going on in your body anyway that can also be an obstacle. So you know what? Dr. Now was right to tell him, if you're not going to take it seriously, then just don't return. Question is, does he return? Let's continue. Well, he returned, and he lost the weight. He started off at 705. He has now returned at 606. So that is a total now in that is a total of 99 pounds he's lost. Now, of course, he had obviously lost 10 pounds originally. That got him to obviously the 696. So he had obviously, you know, lose a little bit more, and obviously this is where he's at right now. So I believe, there we go. That is the total weight loss he has now had since the last time we saw him, which is 89 pounds. But add on the 10 pounds he had lost the first time, that is a total of 99 pounds that he has lost. I mean, obviously it took him 4 months to do it, but he did it. And to be honest with you, for him to make such a U-turn from the first time is incredible. And honestly, I can only give him a round of applause, right? But this is just the beginning of the journey. Let's see what happens next. So Wes did have the surgery because he was able to lose the extra amount of weight. He's obviously now back here again. He's now lost an extra 18 pounds. He was meant to actually get to 528. He got to 529 instead. And to be honest with you, my thing was this. I didn't actually agree with him being approved personally for it too soon. I personally felt like Dr. Now should have pushed for Wes to lose another extra 100 pounds or at least another 50 pounds, you know, before surgery, before deciding on the surgery. But he was given the task to lose some more weight before the surgery, which he did. And obviously he got the surgery, which is fantastic. But my concern is that he has a lot of things, because he failed the first time so miserably. He only made the turnaround just the one time. I'm thinking he has to do it more than once to keep it consistent. Now, of course, in this situation here, after surgery, he's lost an extra 18 pounds. He was meant to lose 25 pounds, to be fair, you know what I mean? But let's see what happens next, though, because to be honest with you, I just felt like this episode, I felt like the way this was done was a bit backwards, but you're about to find out exactly why I think that. Let's get into it.
After surgery, those emotional issues may come to surface even more. So I think right now is the appropriate time to get you to a therapist and work on those issues.
So here's the thing, you know, he's meant to be losing 25 pounds, you know, per each, so and so. But obviously he's not doing that, you know, he's obviously less than that. And obviously Dr. Now says, listen, at the end of the day, yes, you're losing some weight, but you're also still having those little binges or whatever you're having that's stopping you from, you know, really losing the weight that you're supposed to lose. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to lose the weight or more, not lose weight, but less than what's required. Because the surgery is there to help you, you know, obviously keep losing more weight. It's not there for you to just then relax and, you know, think, oh, it's okay, I'm going to relax now, because that's not how it works, right? So obviously now Dr. Now decides to hint at the fact that, you know, he's still got emotional eating habits, you know, obviously in his brain, right? And this is the thing, that was evident. He does a lot of emotional eating. And I was thinking he should have had therapy before having the surgery. And I just didn't understand that, you know, and if he wasn't going to have therapy for the surgery, well, then at least he could have been given a task to lose more weight first, like I said before. But hey, Dr. Now is now suggesting that he goes off and actually has therapy, you know, so therefore he can continue on his weight loss journey since the surgery and not then end up botching the surgery itself in particular. And it's good that obviously it's happening now, but again, should have really happened before if you ask me, because to do the surgery, it's a life risk thing, right? And I feel like to do a surgery, everything else should be out of the way first. And usually they do therapy before, to be honest with you. In the last episode, I'm sure they did that, and the woman still didn't really fix herself. Yeah, yeah, that was her. She was a whole different ball game. But anyway, let's see what happens.
Because let's be honest, eating that much and getting myself to the size I was that's a form of self-harm, you know?
And you know, that never crossed my mind, you being addicted to food. But I never saw any of the signs.
All right, boom. Can somebody explain this to me? As a parent, isn't it our responsibility? Well, no, mind, I'm not a parent, but isn't it a parent's responsibility to be able to identify when their child is not in the best of minds? Because this is the thing that I really find hard to fathom about human beings when we become adults. How humans forget what it was like to be a child. People say, "Oh, I remember what it's like. I remember being your age, or I remember this and that." But why is it we forget the emotions? You could not tell me that he did not know that his son was going through it. Okay, so obviously the therapist has told him that he needs to have a conversation with his dad. Reason being is because he never told his dad about the situation that went down, right? So obviously he's telling his dad about the situation that went down with somebody obviously, you know, doing unnecessary towards him, sadly so. But also at the same time, he's telling his dad at the end of the day, you know, I don't blame you whatsoever. I know you know nothing about it. But the fact that his dad is sitting here and telling me that his son's weight gain over the years was never a concern of his, something that he never worried about, is a big, big issue. If you are around someone, let's just keep it to kids. If you're around your children and your children are constantly eating, and when I say children, I'm not talking about them being kids, you know? I mean, to be fair, kids, even at a young age, can be going through it too. So maybe, to be fair, you should be focusing even when your kids are kids, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about when your child is a teenager and above, right? Teenager, early adult, all that kind of stuff. If you're seeing that your child is not looking after themselves to the slightest, mentally, physically, and here's the thing, sometimes we may not be able to see the mental part of someone being damaged, but we can definitely see when someone is self-harming. Self-harming doesn't come from just actually harming yourself with like sharp objects. No, harming can come from legit eating yourself to death. You know, always on eating, and also eating isolation. If you're, you know what I'm saying, his whole thing has been eating in isolation. That's always been. You know, and he's telling me that he didn't notice that his son was purposely isolating himself. That his son was, what? I mean, to be honest, you forget about noticing that his son was eating so much, but you can see it. The signs were there, but if his dad had said that I didn't see it, and I didn't recognize that you may have been in depression, I feel like if this is the case nowadays with parents not recognizing when their child is going through it at any age, should there be workshops now created for parents to go to recognize when their child is going through it? The level of stupidity. $477. That is good because he obviously had to have another checkup, and as you can see, he's obviously progressed more. And obviously, having that one-to-one with his dad definitely helped. Having the therapist definitely helped. And I believe the total he actually lost was
7. Step up.
Sounds good.
Great.
there is, yes, total of 228 pounds. But of course, in that time, he lost 53 pounds, wasn't it? He said. So honestly, like, congratulations to him on the journey. You know what I mean? He's now obviously 477. He started off on 705. Of course, the journey has not ended. The journey is still at its early stages because 477 is still a lot. You know, and obviously he needs to get to where he needs to get to. That was never really classified, disclosed what number he should be getting to, but I would assume it's obviously somewhere below the 200s, of course, you know what I mean? Whether that be 180 or whatnot, really depends on his height and all that kind of stuff, you know? But either way though, man, it's been a roller coaster because honestly for me, you know, I just felt like the therapy thing should happen way before the surgery. And, you know, the fact that he didn't do well the first 2 months was a big red flag for me personally, but he obviously turned it around, which is good. But again, you know, but either way though, I'm really hoping to find this guy on Where Are They Now? Obviously whenever they decide to film that, of course. I really want to see if he was able to pull through in the end because he's obviously got a lot of emotional damage, of course, and that he's been hiding from. And this is the key point, hiding from. Because he's been hiding from it, it is what got him here. Please do not hide from your trauma. Please do not hide from what you're going through, okay? Find a way to give it an outlet. That I cannot tell you because everybody's different. Everyone's outlet is different. For me personally, with my trauma, I've never seen a therapist. I've never needed to because I have my own type of outlets. You know what I mean? You know, for example, things like working out. You know, that's a good outlet for me. You know what I mean? Clear mind, just work out and just be disciplined in my goal. I'm disciplining my goal in the gym, then I'm disciplining with the rest of my day. That's just how I function. Okay. Or you know, like, or I'll do a nice little hike somewhere nice, somewhere beautiful, and be like, fresh air is amazing. You know what I mean? It's an outlet for me. You know what I mean? Jumping on the plane, stuff. It's an outlet for me. Obviously, everyone's outlet is different, and everyone's outlet doesn't work the same. But for me, those are outlets because they remind me that there's so much more in this world for me that I want to do and want to conquer. But again, that's based on my own self goals and all that kind of stuff. So again, your outlet could be based on a target of yours. I have targets. I have goals. You know what I mean? So I make sure I put myself in situations that keeps me in that mind frame rather than put myself in situations that makes me want to go into the trauma side. Yeah, screw you. That side's not allowed. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, listen, man. Me and you had a conversation, okay? I confronted you and I put you down and now I'm propelling forward. I know you're still here. I know you're always lurking, trying to come at me, right? That's the thing with trauma. Trauma never goes away. It's always there. But the question is, though, how many times can you keep fighting it off each time? Like Rocky said, I've got the line itself in particular by Rocky Balboa, but it's not about the amount of times you get knocked down, it's about the amount of times you can get back up. So for me, it's like, it's not about the amount of times trauma's knocking the door, because that trauma is knocking the door every single second. It's knocking right now. You see what I'm saying? But even though it's here right now, I look at it and I'm like, yo, you don't bother me no more. I'm on to better things now. Anyway, it's nice knowing you. It's nice you're here though, because I like you being here, because it reminds me of where I don't want to be. Right? It's cool, we're blessed, right? We're blessed. You don't want to give me the spud, right? What? Is it because I'm not being negative? You only want to spud me when I'm negative, right? You and your banter. You're not bantering no, because you're dark and evil and you want to take me down? Good luck. Everybody has a different outlet. Everybody just needs to find it. Again, some people need therapists and need help from others, which is completely fine. But understand, even when you get a therapist and you get help from outside people, understand in the end, you have to build yourself up to be able to look after yourself and not rely on therapists. At the end of the day, in this world, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter how many friends we have, how many family members we have, how many children we have. There's only one person that can look after you the most, and that is you. Why? Because you are in your own head. Remember that. Anyway, with that being said, though, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.